My name is Vitalis Mushayavanhu. I grew up in Zim. Then I migrated to South Africa. That was in 2006 due to the economic situation in Zimbabwe. So I was hunting for greener pastures. Unfortunately, when I came to South Africa, then there was this brother of mine who was in the construction business. And he introduced me to construction business. So by then, we were paid just very little amount of money. So I couldn't afford just to pay for taxi fares. So I had to sleep in the bushes during even, by the time, I still remember that by the time it was raining, then in thunderstorms and also in hailstorms, everything was difficult for me. So after that, I met another white guy. This guy was doing surveying and landscaping. So I had to learn that practically. So I started working in the construction sector again, doing surveying and landscaping at the same time. Then after I was experienced for that job, he quitted the job. Then I was the one now who was responsible for the running of the company and all this stuff. So after that, then I was transferred to Komati Port, which is the Mozambican border. So when I got there, I started working. That's when my life became, things became much easier for me, that I could even buy myself all the stuff that I wanted. I even bought a car for myself for the first time. That was now in around 2012. Then in 2013, then that's when I was involved in an accident. That was in September 2013. Then it was before the tragedy happened. I didn't know what was happening with me, because on the Friday before the accident, I couldn't sleep that night, but I couldn't figure out what was happening with me. Then after, on the Saturday, that was the following morning, that I had to visit all my relatives that morning before I left for a party that was in Midrand. But when I got there in Midrand, I found that no, I was not myself. When the other guys were having funny, I couldn't even drink the beer. I couldn't even do anything. I was just feeling exhausted. I don't know what was happening. I couldn't figure out at that time. So they followed me up. They said, "Oh, Vitalis, what's wrong with you?" I said, "No, nothing. I just want to be alone. I don't know what is happening with me." So I told these guys, "No, it's time for us to go back home." It was around now 9:30 at night. Then we drove all the way from Midrand. But we took the N1 highway. Along the N1 highway, then there was this GP guy who was keeping on flashing us, showing that no, we were too speeding. The driver was speeding a lot. So we drove all the way to Pretoria. That guy was just following us, showing us, no, there's cave here. But since I was working in Midrand, I knew I was knowing the road very well. So when we get to Maupani Highway, the R8 to Soshanguve, just before we get to Wanda Park more in Pretoria North, that's when the tragedy happened. The car hit those, it was on a cave and it was raining, so the car hit the steel barricades, then it rolled, I don't know how many times. My body was found 50 meters away from the car in water. And also I had these two other guys, the one was driving and the other one. Those guys, they didn't even get into the ambulance. They managed to escape the accident without even a single scratch. Then when they found my body in water, then they called for the ambulance. So I was in a coma from that day. Then they took me to California Hospital. Then I was in a coma for 4 days, from Saturday until Wednesday. Then on the Wednesday, when I woke up, saw that no, to my surprise, I saw the white ceilings, white walls. I was on a different bed. I saw that I was surrounded by women who were dressed in white and blue. And also I tried to lift my hands, I couldn't lift my hands. Tried to lift my head, I couldn't lift my head. I tried to lift my legs, I couldn't lift my legs. That's when I realized that no, I was in a hospital. So I spent 3 months in the ICU. Then after that I went through multiple surgeries. Then as a result of that, I was diagnosed a complete quadriplegic. Then I am surviving with 7 operations on my body. Then due to that also, I'm surviving also with a steel cage on my back, which was put to avoid further damage to the brains. My rib cage was injured, so due to this result, then it resulted in me resulted in the situation that I got my lungs, that they were injured, so that I couldn't breathe by that time. So they used to feed me with pipes. I couldn't speak, I couldn't do anything by myself. And also I had bloody clotting, so they had to drain the blood from my heart. I've got a hole here on my on the left side of my chest, where there was a pipe which was draining the blood from my body. Then after that, I was transferred to the ward. Then I spent 2 years, 5 months in hospital, struggling with my health. I couldn't hear. I could only hear people laughing outside, but no, I couldn't see them. I could hear the sound of birds outside, but I couldn't see anything. So I figured on myself, say, no, when am I going to enjoy the nature outside? Then after that, then I was transferred to a rehab. When I was transferred to a rehab, then they taught me how to be independent. Then when I got there, they started to teach us, like we went to gym each and every day. Then they started to teach us, say, how do you transfer from your wheelchair into the car? How do you transfer from the wheelchair into how do you transfer yourself from the wheelchair to the bed, from the wheelchair to and also the wheelchair from the wheelchair to the toilet seat, and all those stuff. And also then after that, all the people, my friends whom I was with, no one came to see me during that time at the hospital. And also, what hurt me mostly is when my family was invited to the rehab and said, no, who is going to take care of this guy after he gets discharged, after I get discharged? And one of my relatives said, no, I will be in charge of him. Don't worry, there's no problem. Then after, when the time came to say, no, now next week we are supposed to go home, Vitalis, I said, no, okay, no, it's fine. But we want to have a family meeting with the family and the other relative who said, no, he's going to take care of you. To my surprise, when he got to the rehab, he told me in front of doctors, nurses, the occupational therapist, the physiotherapist. Then he told me, no, I cannot stay with him anymore because I've got young kids. He can infect my kids. Because by that time I was putting on nappies, and also because I had lost my urinal bowel, and also, yeah. So that's because I'm surviving now. I've got a suprapubic catheter, and I'm no longer putting nappies anymore because I trained in my body now. So, you know, by the use of Sinocos and Daugolax. So if I don't take the Sinocos and the Daugolax, it means I don't go to the toilet, the bathroom. So I was so shocked, and it was after that relative said, no, I cannot stay with him. We cannot stay with him anymore because it's going to infect my kids. I was so devastated. I couldn't know what to do. I went through a lot. Said, no, now I'm being rejected. So I tried to commit suicide. I tried to commit suicide, but I couldn't get enough because I just wanted to take all the medication, then I can take them at once. But then I was also not going to the dining room for breakfast, even for lunch, even for supper, for about 3 days. And even I was even resisting to drink water. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go back to the gym anymore by that time. So after that, the doctor realized that no, something is happening with this guy. Because I would isolate myself from other guys. But by trying to commit suicide, I didn't get anything that I could use to commit suicide, because the tablets were given the number of tablets specifically to be taken at that time. If for example, you have to take 3 tablets in the morning, the nurse will just bring those 3 tablets in the morning, then just like that, then you will take those. So I went through a lot. So after that, then the doctor is to extend, to say no, and the social workers, they extended to say no, now we cannot discharge this guy in this situation. So they extended, say no, why least we have to seek for a for a home where he can go and stay after he got discharged. So I went through counseling, I went to the psychologist, they counseled me until I accepted my situation. Then after a month now, that was the 7th month of my stay in the rehab, I was discharged. Then I went to a home for disabled people. So I stayed there. Then after that, even my parents, they are now currently in Zim. They came to see me. And after that, then with the savings that I had by that time, then I tried to figure out, say, no, what can I do now? So there was this other friend of mine, he's in logistics business. So by that time he had ventured into waste business. So he told me to say, no, Vitalis, you know what you can do? You can buy one truck if you can afford to, just one. Then we can rent it out to the West. Since I think he had a tender, so he said, no, you to go under my name. Then I did as what he said with my savings that I had. So I bought that truck, because it was the only kind of business that I could do which was stressless, because he was going to manage the truck. Then at the end of the month, what I could only do was to invoice him. Then after that again, I felt, but before that, I felt neglected. Then I felt that no, I was lonely. I was lonely, and I was not married by that time. So then I went back to church now. Say, no, I have to seek God. Otherwise, my situation, since I accepted the way whom I am, so my situation, I have to go back to God. And then I started praying, since I was raised in a Christian family. So I went to church. Then I met my wife through a mutual friend. Then that was in 2016 now. So I successfully got married in 2016. That was the last day of October. I think it was 30 October. And my wife quitted the job as a recruitment consultant to say, no, she was staying in Joburg and I was staying in Pretoria North. I said, no, I cannot leave you like this. Was I agreed to get married to you, then I'm going to quit my job, then I'll come and stay with you. Because by that time I was staying with the caregivers whom I was paying. So I said, no, I'm going to quit my job, then I can come and stay with you. Then that's what she did. Then, and she said also, but I would also to pursue my career in education. I would also to pursue in academically. Then she is now a holder of 3 degrees, and is currently doing a master's in business administration. Okay, now because of my condition, now I cannot have kids naturally. So we're going to go through the process of IVF. Then we can have kids through that way. Then also now I am even driving myself. Everything is all right. Everything is back to normal. But my advice to other guys like me who are in wheelchairs is that no, everything is possible after being involved in a certain condition, or being involved in an accident or any condition like me, which ended up led you in being a wheelchair bound. So after that, then I saw the need to go through rehabilitation centers, motivating other patients who are in wheelchairs that know there's life even after being involved in an accident. You can do even more things, better things than even people who are not disabled. Because being disabled like me, the way I am, it doesn't mean that I am mentally disabled. I am disabled, of course, but I'm not mentally disabled. I'm not mentally handicapped. It's only that I cannot. My body is no longer functioning as usual, but my brain now is functioning more way forward than before I got involved in an accident. Hi, my name is Vitalis. I have been through the most.